Hello dear students, I hope that you all are safe and sound. Welcome again in class 10th biology. We will continue chapter 6 life processes. We will study in this lecture about heterotrophic nutrition and its types. Secondly, nutrition in unicellular organisms like amoeba and paramecium in detail. First of all, let us study about heterotrophic nutrition. What is heterotrophic nutrition? It is a mode of nutrition in which the organism obtains ready-made organic food from outside sources. The organisms that have this heterotrophic mode of nutrition are called heterotrophs. Heterotroph, it's derived from two Greek words. Hetero means other, troph means nourishment. So the organisms that are not able to synthesize their food on their own, but they depend on others, example autotrophs or green plants for their food supply directly or indirectly. Such organisms are called heterotrophs. These heterotrophs organisms are also known as consumers. Consumers can be herbivores like plant eaters, carnivores are flesh eaters, and omnivores are both flesh and plant eaters. The examples of heterotrophs are fungi, the non-green plants, many bacteria that are non-photosynthetic, all animals and human beings. Students, now we will study types of heterotrophic nutrition. Students, you know, each organism is adapted to its environment and use variety of ways or processes or strategies to take food in and utilize it for its survival. First type of heterotrophic nutrition is Soprofesh mode of nutrition. It is a mode of nutrition in which organisms derive their nutrition or food from dead and decaying matter. Such organisms release some enzymes to break down the food materials outside the body and absorb the digested food material. Such organisms are called saprophytes. Examples of saprophytes are fungi like bread molds, yeast and mushroom. Have a look on this slide showing the various types of saprophytes: bread mold, yeast and mushroom. The second type of heterotrophic nutrition is parasitic nutrition. In this mode of nutrition, the organisms obtain their food from other living organisms by living on their body, or living inside their body without killing them. Such organisms are called parasites, and the organisms on which these parasites grow are known as the host for them. These parasites are of two types: ectoparasites and endoparasites. Ectoparasites live on the body of other living organisms or host body. Endoparasites are the organisms or the parasites that live inside the body of other living organisms or host body. Ectoparasites examples are like plant parasite which lives on the other plants or trees. For example, Cuscuta amarpale. Ticks, lice and leeches are also ectoparasites. They are animal parasites and live on the body of other host or living organisms. Tapeworms fall in the category of endoparasites. They live inside the small intestine of host body and get the food from its body by sucking their blood. Have a look in this slide on various types of parasites. Cuscuta is a plant parasite. Ticks, lice and leech are animal parasites. Tapeworm is an endoparasite which live inside the body of other living organisms. Now the third mode of nutrition is holozoic nutrition. In this mode of nutrition, the animal take in solid food through a definite path. It involves number of steps. The first step is ingestion. It is taking in complex organic food through mouth. For example, our body, we take food in the body through mouth. Second, digestion. The food which we have taken in our body is very complex for us and our body cells cannot consume in its same form. So it has to be converted into simpler, soluble and diffusible molecules through a series of chemical reactions carried out by various enzymes. We will study about it in detail in our next lecture when we study about nutrition in human beings. The third step is absorption. It is the process of passing the simpler soluble molecules of food into blood or lymph which carry them to the body cells. Then fourth step is assimilation. It is the utilization of absorbed nutrient into the body cells for the various metabolic processes like obtaining energy, building up of new tissues and repair of old tissues, etc. Now the last step is ejection. The food which is undigested and unabsorbed is removed out of the body. This process is known as ejection. If it is not removed from the body, it will harm the functioning of the other body organs. This type of nutrition takes place in amoeba and paramecium, which are unicellular organisms, and mammals, including human beings, that are multicellular organisms. Now students, in this slide you are watching the table showing the difference between autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. In the last lecture we have learnt about autotrophic nutrition in detail, and in this slide and in this lecture we are doing heterotrophic nutrition. Now you can take the help of this table to frame the difference between autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Go through this difference and learn it carefully. You can ask the question in board about what is difference between autotrophs and heterotrophs. You can get the answer from this table. Now move over to the next slide. In this slide we will study that how do different organisms obtain their food and nutrition. Different organisms have different strategies to get the food. There are two types of organisms, unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. The unicellular organisms get food in a very simple way. In unicellular organisms, the food may be taken in by the entire body surface. As the complexity of the organisms increases, means the organisms become complex and complex, their body structures become complex and complex, the mode of nutrition also gets complex and complex. Different parts become specialized to perform different functions. Now let us study about nutrition in unicellular organisms like amoeba in detail. You are watching in this diagram, amoeba is moving towards food particle with the help of its finger-like projections called pseudopodia. These pseudopodia fuse over the food particle and take the food particle inside its cell and make a food vacuole. This process is known as ingestion. Inside the food vacuole, the complex food particle is broken down into simpler and diffusible forms with the help of various enzymes or chemicals. This process is called digestion. In this part, the simpler form of food is diffused into the cytoplasm. It is absorbed in the cytoplasm. This process, by the simple process, that is diffusion, and this process is known as absorption. In this part, you are watching that the simpler diffusible form of food particles are utilized by amoeba in various processes, like to generate energy and for various metabolic activities which are necessary for its survival. Now, in this portion, you are watching that the undigested and unabsorbed waste food materials are thrown out of the cell by the process ejection. Students, in this slide, you are watching this nutrition in amoeba, which involves various steps in detail. You can go through each step thoroughly to write a note on nutrition in amoeba. Read these steps and get the answer. We have just explained with the help of diagram. Now in the next slide, I have given one link. You just tap this link and watch the video which shows nutrition in amoeba in detail. In this slide, you will study about nutrition in Paramecium. Paramecium is also a unicellular organism, but it has a definite shape. It also has holozoic mode of nutrition. This is the diagram of Paramecium. It has small hair-like processes all over its surface. Entire surface is covered with cilia, hair-like projections, and these cilia help this Paramecium in locomotion as well as in capturing the food particles. So with the help of these cilia, it captures the food particle and take it towards this oral groove, and then this food is taken through this cytopharynx, and at the bottom of the cytopharynx, you are watching this circle. This is a food vacuole. Inside this food vacuole, the complex food material is broken down into simpler form with the help of various enzymes, and then this simpler food material is moved inside the cytoplasm and get absorbed and assimilated in the cytoplasm of Paramecium, where it is utilized for various metabolic processes. The waste material which is undigested food particle and unabsorbed food particle gathers to one side, and this site is known as cytopise or anal spot. From where the waste material is removed out of its body. So this is all about nutrition in Paramecium. Again, I have given one link in the next slide. Students, just copy this link and see the video which shows nutrition in Paramecium in detail. This is all for the day. Study all the topics from your textbooks once again. Thank you till the next lecture.